Hello, everybody. Yes, let's go. We back. Welcome to Spoilers for Days, a show for the girls, the gays, and the days to come together to spoil all your favorite shows from our perspective in collaboration with LiveXLive. I am so freaking hyped to have these amazing people on the show today. Today, for this episode of Spoilers for Days, we have an amazing special guest, Lauren Shippen, joining us today. Hello. Hi, thank you for being on the show. Lauren is a writer best known for her work in fiction podcasts. She was the creator and the sole writer of the very popular audio drama The Bright Sessions, a fiction podcast about people with supernatural abilities in therapy. Oh my God, we are going to have to talk about that. Absolutely. But that is not all. She went on to write and direct the #1 podcast, Bridgewater and Passenger List. She also wrote Marvels, an audio adaptation of the popular comic, and Surviving Hawkins, a Stranger Things podcast, which sounds lit as hell. Also going to have to talk about that. She has written 3 novels for Tortine. Although her company, Atypical Artist, she helps bring others' audio stories come to life. Not only are you making amazing works, but you're providing a way and an avenue for others to do it. Amazing. We love that. We stand that here. So thank you for that. So great to have you on the show.
To be here. I'm so excited to be here with you guys and to talk about What If, because I am also a huge Marvel nerd, so I can't wait to get into it.
Yay,
You're in good company.
Good company.
So how do we feel? Quick read the room. Are we for or against this episode here? Thor, I want to know.
I thought it was fun. I like the What If episodes that are like a little bit lighter, a little bit goofier. But I definitely kept trying. It felt like a who's where's Waldo of like characters popping up.
Yes,
with
so
just
true.
A little explanation, which was a little bit confusing, but it was fun. I liked it.
Awesome. I kind of agree. I thought it was of the funny ones. It was the funnest. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll get into that. But that's my opinion so far at a surface value. What about you, Jackie? I see your face. You're like pressed.
I know. It was funny. I was just thinking, like, what do I think of this one? So Lauren, sorry to be on the opposite side, but Jessica and I are kind of the dark, twisted mindset. So we're like giant fans of the Doctor Strange one. I really like the Killmonger one recently too. So
Yes.
I don't think it beats out those two for me. I still love T'Challa as Star-Lord, so I still think that's number 3 for me, but this one was really funny and just kind of like just all over the place. So I did find it really fun. I thought the jokes hit, and honestly, Captain Marvel versus Thor was like pretty epic for me. Like I was kind of like going nuts that whole time. So like I thought it was solid. Like I don't think it wasn't like I was like, oh, I want to watch that again. Or I was like, wow, that blew me away. It was super heavy. But I was just like, this is fun. This is funny.
You're big old average, you know, like
yeah. But it's definitely, there's, I would say a few that I did not like this one. I definitely liked. Like I was like, this one was fun. It was cool.
Okay, nice. What about you, Jessica? How did you feel? I'm so curious. I've been dying to know.
All right, this is how I feel. Okay. I don't know, y'all. It was stupid. Like, and okay, I'm always kind of a hard ass on here, and I'm always looking for like the darkness and stuff.
He's the Simon Cowell, by the way.
I'm the Simon Cowell. But I also, when I've asked for if there's humor, make it all humor. Yes, it was all humor. That was what I wanted. It was tonally all the same. I liked that it was tonally all the same, but it was just so dumb. Like, what? But Loki is gone and Thor is just like parties now? Like, why? And he's like kind of accidentally killing planets, but like not fully like diving into the, like, maybe he's a villain now. Like, and he's just like a big child, and I don't know, it was just stupid. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I love it. And we're going to totally dive deeper into that later in this episode. I'm actually so excited because you're not wrong, Jessica. You are not wrong. And I think we all have thoughts on a lot of what transpired in this week's episode. But if episode 7, if Thor were an only child, I'm gonna start with the elephant in the freaking room.
Mhm.
Hell, Thor being the only child caused frat boy Thor? I'm just
That's the
joke.
nice F boy Thor. I was gonna say a different word, but okay, yeah.
I said frat
I know,
boy
you're
Thor.
being kind. You're being very kind.
I'm being
Yeah.
kind.
Mhm.
The premise is, of course, Thor, our legendary hero, right, doesn't actually grow up with Loki as his brother. Loki is returned back to the Frost homies. I don't know, I'm coming up with different names for them every 5 minutes.
Frost
The
homies.
Frost homies, because they're like
Frost
Frost
homies is great.
boys. Like, I'm
They are literally like frat boy, like
They are.
Frost frat boys. That is hilarious. I'm
the
sorry, I
Frost
love it.
homies. They're like, yo,
Yeah.
Frost gang in here. And I'm like, yo, chill. But the fact that, kind of Thor, I guess maybe became more of a mama's boy than he would have been if, there was two boys to share the love or something. But I don't know if I feel like I'm enjoying this universe off of that little change of no brother. I don't know how y'all feel about it though.
Yeah, that was like so they opened up and he's partying, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so this is a different Thor for sure, though let's be honest, like Thor in the universe we know, he's a little bit of a D-bag, but like we can overlook it,
He's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Yeah, he's gotten better. I mean,
Thor is definitely like a partier.
I'm literally here for him and Peter Quill interactions, like because those are the two F boys in my opinion of the MCU, and whenever they're around each other, like their energy is like so like I gotta be like bigger and better. Like I just love their interactions. But okay, so like I was like, wow, this is worse than the one that we know. And then it went to, and don't get me wrong, I love me some Thor, but it was just kind of like, oh wow, he's even worse, And but then it went into this whole like he didn't have Loki there and all this stuff, and then I was just like, okay, well, are they gonna explain like why he ended up like this then? Like it was just like Loki wasn't there. So then I was like, okay, well, was there like some trauma or like BK was saying, how did he get so attached to his mom or so careless about his father? Like, I was just like, explain this to me as to why he's acting like this. And it like didn't. So then I was just like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of like, it just kind of like was, it just was like, and Loki. Yeah, exactly. And it was like, and Loki wasn't there and he was different. And I was like, like it's just like, well, wait, what? Like, what happened? Like was there trauma? Like, I don't know. Like, and I agree.
He didn't have anybody that he had to learn lessons from. Like having a sibling really changes.
That's true.
You.
That's true.
Have you ever known an only child and you're like, wow, you are definitely an only child?
I'm like curious about the Odin of it all. Like,
where
is he?
Asleep? I was like
this is a deadbeat dad. Like,
Daddy taking a nap. The winter solstice needs to come, or was it the summer solstice? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
like,
mythology. But
and like, it's one thing to sort of like gloss over that, but then also like, what is Thor's relationship to his father? Like, is this the time that like he can go nuts because his dad's not breathing down his neck about like taking over the throne eventually? Like,
yes, like give me some backstory.
Yeah, I feel like we in the MCU we have like a lot of like support for Loki's life being shaped by being Thor's younger brother, right? Like the fact that he's like constantly in Thor's shadow and like he's having to like fight to be like a leader, and Thor being kind of the golden boy who's like throwing it away. And in my head, I'm like, if he were the only child, I feel like there would be even more pressure on him.
Agreed.
And so maybe
agree.
that would make him party more, but then like show me that tension, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that the reason, or is he just a jackass? Like,
and maybe that's it. He's just a
Like, maybe he's just an
jackass. 100%. Like, I thought Odin was dying, and I was like,
No!
yeah, for real. And then I was like, Thor's just like playing with his hair, or I don't even remember. And I was like, I was literally like taken aback. I was like, this is not okay. And then I realized he's taken asleep. But literally when they were like, he's going to bed and all this stuff, I was like, what is going down?
We should totally
now?
talk about that though. Like tell me how. All right. I mean, again, someone's gonna have to bust it down for me on like the Norse mythology of where the connections it is, because it's clearly drawing inspiration from that. But it's hilarious to me that like an entire like galactic situation is involving on this man's taking a nap, and his wife is finally gonna go on a trip with her homegirls every 1,000 years. And when that happens, Frat Boy decides to come to Midgard. Also, how old are Asgardians? I'm confused now, because Thor was acting like he was like 16 and had his first beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like, what's going on here? All right. There's a lot to talk about in this scene. Like,
I don't
yeah,
know.
this was a bit much. I'm like, okay, so just accept it. Once I accepted it, though, I was like, all right, I have a lot of issues with this. I accepted it, though, and just went on for the ride. It was a fun episode. It was a fun episode.
I think one of my feelings with a lot of the episodes, and I've enjoyed like most of the elements of all of them, but I think that when things like either like fall short or I feel like a little bit like something's missing, it's because they're not going weird enough. Like if you're gonna go the
we
full,
talk about this all the time. Yep.
Yeah,
they don't
like
go enough. They
2000s
don't go
frat
far enough.
humor.
Yep.
Do the Hangover, and like Thor has stolen the president of the United States and taken him to another planet. Like do something like that, right? Like something that's just like so outlandish and so ridiculous.
Like where's the military? Where is anything if it's such a big threat? They just like, oh, I don't know. I feel like that we've literally had this discussion about almost every episode. The only episode I think everybody was like, this is great. There's two. It was the T'Challa Star-Lord one and the Doctor Strange one because they pushed them in those directions we wanted to see it happen. They weren't shy about anything, where I think a lot of the other ones, they're like, don't exactly know what they want to do, so they just play it safe. And I think that's not what we wanted as fans. This is the storyline I wanted. I wanted Thor to be a villain. I wanted Thor to be selfish. I wanted him to be like, I want to rule the world. I'm the king. Duh. You know, because he's had no opposition, no brother to think about. I wanted villain Thor, but I always want the dark one. I always want the dark shit.
And he could be like such an apathetic jerk. He could be like, you know, just partying, and then he could be like, yo, I just want to take over this place. I think I'm just going to take it over. And then and like, you just be like, how are you so careless and an a-hole? But like, I thought they were setting him up to kind I was like, okay, he's about to be like, and then it was just, here's Captain Marvel, here's an epic fight, which low-key I love me a good epic fight, so I was okay. It was fun.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of payoff. Like, I don't know. I felt like
there was no resolution. I agree with you. Like the fight was lit, but then like we don't really have a victor ? Like, you know, I'm getting mixed vibes here. But that was really awesome. Like it was cool to see Captain Marvel like in action. Like I feel like we don't get enough of her.
Thor too. Like that's the battle. Like you just are like, how would this play out? And I
want more. I want all the Avengers to be like, we need to stop this threat. I want him as a villain, and then all the Avengers to be like, we need to stop this threat, and then he gets to fight every single one of them, and we get to see like, could Thor wreck them?
On some Invincible vibes, like you know, Red Sun Superman type vibes. Like I would have loved to see that. I'm with you, Jessica. Like we are here. Our dark storylines. I am like freaking out now. Where is that episode? Hold on.
You know, it's so good.
He's just a frat boy, just partying. I think that because I had this like vision of like, ooh, what if Thor's an only child? He's gonna be a villain, and then it didn't go that at all. I think maybe I set myself up for a bit of disappointment.
The title totally makes you think though that he's gonna be the Loki then. Like if he doesn't have Loki, then he'll sort of turn into that. So I get that completely.
Because like you could be most 99% of the villains are just selfish jerks who are just like, I want this, so I deserve it, and I'm gonna get it. And I thought like him being an only child and not learning that lesson and being a prince like could easily fall into that trap had he not had a brother there.
Well, we gotta talk about this ending. I was gonna say, I hate to cut you off, Jessica, but like we have to talk about this. I have thoughts and disappointments as well. How are we going to, Mr. Watcher, say happily ever after, I was finally happy with the episode, and then go, or not? And then show me Infinity Ultron Vision. Okay? Like, I love the crossover. It kind of canonizes a Marvel vs. Capcom game, which is really cool. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's main villain is this crossover character. It looks exactly like it. So people are like, oh my God, is the game real? Is it real in the multiverse? But at the same time, I'm like, you put the bow on it and then said no, and we're never seeing this again. I'm not okay with that kind of ending. I'm not okay with that. That's a big thumbs down for me. So this is very low on my list from that ending.
I wanted to see more. I want to see what is Ultron's goal, because it's not the same as Thanos.
Just shows up.
How did he get all the thingies, the Infinity Stones?
Armies.
That's the thing too, is you have to, when something goes awry in the universe, no matter what, it's going to change something. And we really didn't get the payoff until the very end, which I think was really, I remember watching the episode with my fiance being like, where's the episode? Why turned out
everyone was like,
angry.
"Where's that episode?" Yeah. Yeah. Seeing that, like it kind of bugged me because it just came out of nowhere. Like I feel like I like when there was some sort of connection, right? Like when Peter Kroll's dad like shows up to the Dairy Queen and he's like, "Hey son," and it's like, oh yeah, that would happen. Like, you know what I mean?
Like cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I like, but I know when I saw that one, I was like, oh, you know, like this was kind of like, oh. But what led up to that? Like, where's the connections and stuff like that? Like, it just happened. And I conceptually dope, you know, like cool. Like, obviously, like that'd be a cool twist. But I'm just like, how did we get here though?
I think there's like a way to, especially because like because of the Infinity Stones and because we've established like time travel and all these hijinks and everything. I think there's a way to do what you guys were talking about earlier, which is like bring Tony Stark into this, and maybe instead of him being like, I used to party, this is bad, maybe he like goes nuts for it and he's like, all right, like I've never partied this big before.
Maybe
he meets Bruce. And they get drunk and like build Ultron together, and
That's
like
funny.
then because they're wasted, it like goes
my god,
that's amazing.
That was hilarious.
It would have been way better.
And like
That's
Thor had to
amazing.
create this environment for them to like be mad scientists, basically.
And they like
That's
woke
awesome.
up and they were like, who did that? And then someone's like, y'all did. I would have. Oh, that would have been so fun.
That would've been great,
fun.
That sounds great.
Like,
dude.
and I'd
That's
be
awesome.
okay with that storyline if that's just how it ended, even. And it's just like, well,
Right.
they
Then
created
you just
this.
know where it's come from.
Now it's dead. Yeah, exactly. I think that's like, you want that payoff. You want that connection, because we know this realm. We know the MCU. We know the timelines. We know the characters. And if there's something in there that's just thrown in there, like our brains want to make those dots, connect those dots, make that translation, you know, figure it out. And in this one, you really just can't, because they don't give you the tools to do that. They're just kind of like, here you go, boopity bop, bye. And I didn't like that.
So we want to make the connections of like how we got there, but also because we know that these are single episodes, we want to be able to imagine what's going to happen next. And to your point about Ego showing up at the Dairy Queen, like we can imagine how that's going to play out, right? Because of Guardians 2. And we know that like Ego is probably going to tell Peter that he's like half god and like turn him into some weird like protege. Whereas like I don't know what a Ultron Vision and Thor face-off looks like. Like, I don't know what Thor's investment in Earth is beyond Jane, right? And so it's like, it's hard for me to sort of play that tape out without it being established.
Like, peace, this ain't fun no more.
Not my monkey, not my circus, you know?
The Infinity Stones, just like Thanos, like Thor could not have defeated Thanos on his own. Like, so is this just the end? Was that the end? And like, or is there still hope? I don't know. It was just so weirdly thrown at us. I don't know. I totally get what you're saying though.
One thing I wanted to bring up was like, I feel like every episode we have talked about how there's not enough time. Like we feel like with every episode there's not enough time. This was the first episode where I was like, yo, are we done? Like, and it, that's, I don't know what that means, but it was just kind of funny.
30-minute episode, right? I was like, what? How come the first episode was 20 minutes? I was like, I would have taken more like Captain Peggy.
In the first one.
Yeah. But this one, I was literally like, are we wrapping up here? And then just things were dragging. And then he's like sitting in front of the people, teaching them. And I was just like, I'm so done.
I'm done.
Lost. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm done. And then they
could have worked for a shorter, quick, dumb little thing of like, oh, here's a 10-minute one of like, oh, here I am partying. Oh no, my mom, we have to clean this up. Like that would have been fun.
It would have been a great short.
It's fun. It has some merit to it.
Exactly. I just think that it was just not handled correctly. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, I feel y'all. But we
got
got spicy memes, so we're gonna keep these memes. I think the first one, I'm losing it. I haven't seen these until now. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but I cannot unsee after that episode of What If.
How funny.
Didn't you compare to Shrek earlier? Like, isn't this from Shrek?
Yeah, I did not see this, and now I'm like, holy.
You knew. Something deep in your heart knew.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say the animation has nailed a lot of the actors. Like, they look just like the actors. But Thor in this one, to me, didn't look like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he does. I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
He looks like Prince Charming.
like this guy.
I'm so upset right
funny.
now. Oh my god. All right, let's check out this next one here. We got What If Thor. They had more chemistry in a 30 minutes episode than in 2 whole movies. Ooh.
Where's the lie?
Spicy.
Ooh, how we feel about that comment, y'all? Hold on. We talked about this on the show. Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, I low-key agree with that. You know what I mean?
super
Like,
agree.
Yeah.
Like, the second Thor movie, for me, like, the first Thor movie was kind of like, okay, this is origin film, whatever. The love story is kind of just part of it. But the second one, I felt like Natalie Portman straight up did not want to be in that movie. The way that she kind of like held herself at times, I was like, she does not want to be here, and you can tell. And it's reading camera so hard.
Oh, funny.
But then her doing this What If, and then also the new Thor movie, like, I wonder if she's, maybe she was just having a bad time when she was on that set or something.
You getting that Disney
Because
money? That's what it is.
maybe that's, I don't know, but this What If movie actually episode gave me a lot of hope for Thor Love and Thunder, because after Thor 2, I was a little like discouraged, like, ooh, is Natalie Portman gonna like actually want to do this movie?
Bad, man. Yeah.
And the fact that she was very lighthearted in this one, and seemed like she was having a good time acting wise, like, yeah, okay, I'm excited for the next film for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here we go. Thor. My mother is coming. We have to clean this mess and head home. Loki. I missed the part where she's my mother.
Oh
my god. That's bad. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of felt that, even though, I'm an only child, so I kind of felt that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't want to laugh at that one. Damn.
It's not his problem in this universe. It's not his mom.
Not my problem. Last meme here. This one's pretty funny too. Here we go. Together they lived happily ever after. Oh dear, perhaps I spoke too soon for the ending.
Yeah,
that's good.
Exactly how I felt. That's very much how I felt. I don't know about y'all though.
Absolutely.
That was my face exactly.
You're like,
that
Just
guy
like,
is
wait,
me.
what?
So wait, what did the
confusion.
Watcher say exactly? Like, I remember at the end he was like, how did he transition to it? Just being
That's
like,
literally, I think those are the lines.
Yeah,
were
I think
those
those
the
are
lines?
lines.
Because I was gonna say it was so abrupt, and I was like,
I swear to
wait,
God,
what?
I think that's
Like,
the
we
line. Oh
didn't
dear,
that
perhaps
is
need this
funny.
little stinger at the end. We didn't need it. We could have just had it be a lighthearted episode and leave it at that. They did not have
Oh,
to
it
throw
got
it.
heavy. Yeah, and then like we said, just out of nowhere, like we were all like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Exactly, like nothing else. to say.
Oh my god.
Lordy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so consensus wise, we're all like, this is on a mid range. Where
Middle.
are we putting this
Low.
on
It's in the middle.
temperature? You're
Low.
low.
Dang.
You're mid. How are
I'm
you, Lauren?
mid. There were so many worse episodes, I feel like.
I
This
think there
one
was one worse episode, and that was the Avengers one. The Avengers.
Okay.
What if the Avengers weren't a
The
thing?
mystery
or whatever?
one. The mystery
The-
one.
The
Zero
mystery,
Thor.
dude, the zombie one did not hit
I
with
liked the
me.
zombie one.
That was
I
my
Zombie one
favorite.
didn't hit with
Right?
me. Is it
Sure.
the zombie one? People either love or hate the zombie one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because I thought how weird it was. I loved that they just like went for it.
Yeah.
Like with Ant-Man's like head in the thing, and
Yeah.
zombie Wanda being fed bodies by
Zombie
Vision. Like,
Wanda.
yeah, give me all that weird.
You know what?
darkness.
Okay, you're right. I'll move that
Yeah.
one up. Maybe
Dark
this one
moments.
was at the bottom.
This
then.
one
Maybe
was
it is
the second
low.
worst for me. Second worst. And because the zombie one gave us some really cool, oh my god, how would they solve that problem? It made me think a little bit. This one made me think not once. It just made me think, when is this gonna end?
I was just gonna say, I'm like, she might be right. This might be
Yeah.
second from the bottom for sure.
Ooh.
The mystery one's definitely the bottom though.
Yeah,
that
that
one
one-
was
okay.
like,
That one was just
Mm.
fat disappointment. It could have been so good, so
Yeah.
dark, so noir.
Oh no, I get definitely.
Mhm,
What about you,
mhm.
Lauren? How are you feeling about this? Was this still mid? I think you had a solid average appreciation for the episode.
I think I've like enjoyed the ones that are just trying to like truly be a concept versus like trying to add too much to the lore, get too deep into it. So like the higher concept ones of like zombie, or just like the silly concept of like Thor throws a party and then it happens. Like I think that like I think with this show in general, I've sort of wondered like, who is it for and what is it trying to achieve? And I think
Yes.
depending on how
Yes.
you approach it, like it can be whatever you want it to be, which has pros and cons. And I think because I get so much of like my like character and world stuff from the comics and from the movies, I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna like let this be silly when it wants to be silly.
I love that.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. I think I'm too hard. I'm harsh.
No, Jessica and I are mean.
Yeah,
Jessica's the meanest though.
I'm really mean.
But I'm on the mean team too.
I think it's because I grew up, it's so heavy in this world, rooting for it every step of the way. Like I've literally been reading comics since I could read. And so I have so many stakes emotionally in this stuff for it to succeed that when it doesn't quite meet those expectations, I take it not personally, but I'm like, ooh, come on, you have to do it for me. You have to keep being popular. I can't be made fun of for liking this stuff anymore,
I think it's really high.
I feel like it's
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Episode, shoot! I know we could chat all freaking night. This was such a vibe. We were going off, and
really fun.
The memes are the icing on the cake for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm wanting to search for more. I'm like, okay, because this definitely hit on some of the stuff we talked about, and I can't get over the Shrek reference.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I can't get over
Oh
it.
my gosh, this is so funny.
Oh my god, I didn't. Oh my goodness. Well, this was amazing. Spoilers for days. Shout outs to everybody who's joined us today. Made of Might, thank you. Jackie Jing, as always, thank you. Love. And of course, Lauren, thank you so much for hanging out with us, joining us today.
Thank you.
No, it was so dope to have you through the deep dive and all the memes. This was fantastic. I hope you had a good time here with us.
This was the best. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was so much fun.
Yes. Can you let anybody know what you're working on? Anything coming up soon? And you want to plug any last stuff that they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Lauren Shippen on all social media, and I'll plug two things really quickly. Bridgewater, the podcast that I have right now coming out with Misha Collins and Nathan Fillion, has its finale next week, so it's a perfect time to catch up and not be like dying week to week with cliffhangers. And my third book comes out on Tuesday. It's called Some Faraway Place, and it's about a girl who can dive into people's dreams and change them. And it's YA. I'm really excited about it.
So
it comes out on Tuesday.
Sign me up.
That sounds really cool.
Wow. Please, everyone, do yourself a favor and look up Lauren. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're doing it. I'm going to look it up.
Oh, yeah. I'm following. I'm going to be bothering her now.
I know.
What did I sign up for, man?
You're in
the Fairy Show. It's happening.
You are in the queendom now, honey.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Please be sure to check us out next week here at Live Spoilers for Days, Thursdays, 5 p.m. PT, 8 p.m. ET for us East Coasters. And if you want to watch the episodes with us, we host Discord watch parties in the Queen's Discord every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. ET. So pull through, come hang with us, live reactions, join the Discord. All the links are all up in the chat. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, chat. Shout out to Live by Live for powering this stream. And thank you, lovely ladies, for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.